Hi, good, good morning, everyone. I would like to thank you for taking your time out to attend this webinar that is jointly organized by VietSunshine and Entrust. My name is Don Ng. I'm the marketing manager for Entrust, responsible for Asia Pacific and Japan. So today, I'd like to introduce the team from Entrust that is participating on this webinar. We have Somkiat, who is based in Thailand, who is our regional sales account manager. We have Lawrence Tan, who is our technical sales consulting manager, leading our pre-sales consulting team based out of Singapore for Asia Pacific and Japan. So, and together with myself, we'll be the team from Entrust that will be on the Q&A panel. Now, without much further ado, let me turn over the slot over to Mr. Loong from VietSunshine, who will be giving us an introduction to his company and their achievement. So over to you, Mr. Loong.
Thank you very much, Don. And hello, everyone. Again, thank you very much for your time joining the webinar today with us. Again, I would like to thank Entrust for the help and organizing this webinar. I won't be holding you for too long. Let me just share my screen and share with you some slides on our VSS profile and what our achievements. All right, so VSS has been established in 2006. We have 14 years in business as a value-added distributor in Vietnam and Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar. We have coverage in Vietnam with 2 offices with Ho Chi Minh as a headquarters and representative office in Hanoi, as well as in Cambodia, Phnom Penh, Myanmar in Yangon. In total, we have around 65 employees, with more than half of them are qualified technical professionals across 4 offices. Our biggest achievement and is the team of penetration testings as well as security researchers and consultants, right? With multiple zero-day acknowledgements and awards in the industry and certifications for the consultants. As you can find us in different offices here, I have listed down 4 of them with our Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi buildings in the picture. In our product portfolio as distributor, we do carry quite some, and I have taken a breakdown here for your easy navigations. Definitely, Entrust as one of our key products and vendors for identity access management, hardware security models, and we have recently signed with VinCSS as part of Vin Group, who's the largest private-owned group in Vietnam, for the FITO2 authentications, right? This is the trend that will change as a passwordless, and it blends in with Entrust as a hardware token to authenticate with Entrust authentication platform. Apart from that, we also carry Fortinet as next generation firewalls, email and web security in leading Gartners as well. FireEye for APT protection, maintenance services, incident response, and compromise assessment services, which we have done quite a lot in Vietnam. For the privilege access management and privilege identity management is mainly Centrify as a leader in Gartner. For web application firewall, DDoS, we have Redware as a vendor to go to, and Citrix is long-term for their workspace for their VDI solutions, as well as load balancing, ADC, application deliveries. Apart from that, of course, we do carry infrastructure and network for high performance mainly. So you could see is Pure Storage, they only do all flash storage, and they are leading in that Gartner major quadrant. As well as Arista and Mellanox is high performance networking in data centers. And Mellanox, which recently been acquired by NVIDIA, is our go-to vendor for infinity band high performing computing, especially applicable for customers in Vietnam applying the artificial intelligence researchers and network brokers from Gigamon Recently, we also have been signed up as a managed service provider for VeloCloud SD-WAN, which is part of VMware now. So we are providing in Vietnam as a level 1, level 2, and provider for SD-WAN gateway access for our customers who would like to invest into SD-WAN. And with recent IoT and SCADA security, we also strategic partners and distributor for different vendors in that sector, especially Clarity as a SCADA and IoT platform visibility and detection of the attacks, all cyber defense for data deals, one-way communications, and ReadyFlow as a regularized firewalls for SCADA. In terms of the TOP, we have Digital Guardians as leading, BMC for mainly Remedy ITSM, which is IT Service Management, IT Operation Management solutions. And to share with you, we also deployed one of the largest projects for BMC in Vietnam for one of the top 1 banks successfully last year, and more than 15,000 users, and have transformed their digital banking, as well as to Fin for policy optimizations. So we do provide various products and services. In terms of the products, of course, we can help you with the consulting and site survey, as well as evaluation, design, and even implementations, right, for the customers and partners. We are, as a value-added distributor, we are also authorized support center for many vendors that we carry. And to get that achievements, of course, we have to have enough people and certifications, as well as SLA and case closure resolutions and the frontline metrics. We do provide managed security service in Vietnam as of now. COM will be upcoming. And in team of the penetration testing, we do have 8 people for white hackers, which is also very industry recognized and achievements, providing all kind of security service from penetration testing, exploiting, to incident response, red teaming, to forensics and malware reversing, right? In compliance and auditing, we primarily do ISO 27001 COBITS and CIS compliance consulting for our customers, currently mainly in Vietnam. So this is the list of the vendors that we do have authorized support center achievements in those countries. So Fortinet as FortiCare partners, Pure Storage as an authorized support partner, as well as Citrix service provider and partner, and VeloCloud, of course, as I've shared. For penetration testing, of course, our team is, as I shared, is have good achievements and recognitions. They've been the only team in Vietnam to get in second place in Capture the Flag last Hack in the Box in Singapore back in 2017. This one was one of the international competitions, and they are the only team in Vietnam to get into the prize. They're also quite strong on the White Hat Grand Prix in 2018, 2019, and overall they are number 5 worldwide. So it's only below like US, Russia, Korea, and Indonesia teams, which are very strong in the world. And of course, our hackers are also very recognized for bug hunting and recognizing a lot of Hall of Fames. Ranked as Google for disclosing 20 days on Google sites, as well as different CVEs recognized to this person. It's also on HackerOne platform, where you can actually get paid for disclosing vulnerability 0 days to the companies that are worth on this platform, right? So this person, one of our security researchers in the team, has been awarded anywhere from a few hundred US to $10,000 per vulnerability. So this really depends on the severity of the disclosure. And you can see here is mainly on the Grab. I do believe in the region Grab is quite popular transportation booking applications. So he's one of the top 5 as well for the Grab, and as well as Uber previously. different recognitions and awards for that. The other researcher who has been working with us is also recognized as Microsoft for finding 0 days on Microsoft services, and Oracle, multiple 0 days disclosure has been recognized for VietSunshine team, and this person for at least 3 CVEs has been recognized regarding the Oracle Web Logic, as well as SAP, right? SAP is one of the largest ERP system in the world, and we also have been able to be recognized for them back in 2020 for disclosing critical vulnerability. So this is ending my slides, and I would like to thank you again. And I would like to introduce Mr. Lawrence Dunn, our Entrust consulting manager, for the next presentation. Again, thank you so much for your time. Lawrence, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. Let me share my screen. Okay, yep. Good morning, everyone. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Lawrence. I'm a technical sales consulting manager for APAC. And over 20 years of experience in telecom, financial, and enterprise industry. And I'm based in Singapore, currently leading a team of security consultants for in the Asia Pacific and Japan. So let me use the next 40 minutes or so to introduce what Entrust does, as well as the current security landscape and how to secure the digital world in the now changing environment. So my topic today is securing critical data and applications with Entrust. And in this session, we'll look at the trends and challenges in the digital world today, how we can secure critical data and applications using the two important pillars. One is identity and access management that includes authentication, as well as digital credentials, which is based on the PKI. And I will introduce these two main solution portfolio, and then provide some case study, and followed by our company introduction. So let us start with observing the trends that's happening around the world due to the pandemic, right? So everybody's forced to work from home, and then a lot of enterprise, banks, financial institutions, even companies, they are forced to go into the path of digital transformation, and this is now happening at a light speed. So with the lockdown this year, we have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months, right? According to CEO of Microsoft, and more than ever, the world needs the tools that enable a secure and productive digital life. And this is a top strategic and investment priority for CIOs and CEOs worldwide. We can see that the digital transformation is accelerating. However, there's a lot of challenges for the IT and security experts because it's getting harder for organizations to deliver trust in the current challenging landscape. This is because we can see a lot of cloud technology coming out, a lot of Internet of Things, IoT, and then the network parameters are already becoming unrecognizable, and the environment is increasingly complex. And skill shortages and cyber crimes are real threats, and the government or industry regulations keep coming. So like you have past 2 years, you have European start to have a GDPR law, PSD2, and so all these regulation forced all the organizations to look at the strategy of securing the digital identities. On the other hand, the consumers are saying, give me privacy. I do not want my data to be resided right in another location. Or however, I also want to have a very user-friendly experience and don't make life too hard for me. So the stakes have never been higher, and the need for trusted digital identities has never been greater. And from Entrust perspective, we see that there are two fundamental approaches to securing the digital world. The first is aspect is securing the applications and the data access. So the fundamental question is how to grant the right entity to access the right resources at the right time for the right reasons. And so this comes under identity and access management. The second approach that's important is securing the data and identity. How to trust each identity, store and share information safely with lots of trust relationships individually. As you can see on the right side of the diagram, we are moving from personal identity to identity related to things, systems, and devices. So there's a lot of trust relationships that needs to be established, and we have to ensure that the identity of the covers three aspects. One is the authentication, authenticity, how to ensure identity of the sender. Second is integrity, how to ensure that the data has not been modified during the transmission. And then the third is confidentiality, how to ensure the sensitive data is only available to intended parties. So for example, right, we see that now enterprise and they let the employee bring their own device, right? So once they leave the company or lost the device, how to reestablish the trust, and then how to exchange the information, right, among the users and systems. So that will require the PKI-based digital credentials. So with the PKI and IAM as the two main approach, we believe that it can secure the data and applications and build trust in the open digital world. Thankfully, their adoption is accelerated, by standardization and compliance. Credential-based identities are built on PKI with a set of policies, roles, and procedures needed to manage the certificates, stores information that pertains to the integrity of a digital identity attributes. And standardization has driven the adoption of credential-based identities to support expanding use case. You can commonly see e-passport, right? When you travel, all your digital identities are actually embedded into the passport chip. And now with 4G and 5G network rolling out, there needs to be a way to encrypt the voice and the data, and then even the base and the cell stations needs to establish trust with each other. And then with the advent of those bring your own device policies, so mobile device management is also very crucial. And this standardization ensures the interoperability across all the different digital entities. And on the government side, there is also a lot of security frameworks that roll out. For example, the EIDAS. EIDAS stands for Electronic Identification, Authentication, and Trust Service. Is a framework that ensures electronic interaction between business so that it becomes safer and faster and more efficient within any European countries. And this is a reference standards that all the other parts of the world are referring to when they consider digital signing application as well. And PSD2 is also another European regulation for electronic payment services. It requires the use of special qualified SSL TLS certs that carries the highest level of assurance for securing the sensitive transactions. And if you look at the right side, there's identity and access management as well, which is another portfolio that serves to provision, manage, and authenticate digital identities. So in the IAM there's also a lot of standardizations and authentication protocols that enables multi-factor authentication to work seamlessly with the cloud or on-prem applications, and this has enabled interoperability of different hardware authenticators, and this is all supported in the Entrust IAM portfolio. And if you look at the journey, right, of securing the digital world, I think the fundamental question is how do you prove who you are? And you need a system to validate and establish trust, okay, with this digital identity. So every one of us has many digital identities. So I have a government identity in my passport. I have a bank identity as a token issued by the bank. I have a club membership identity as a mobile app. Right. So to validate and establish trust with these identities, so every organization that issue these identities needs a system to do that. And the simplest form of identity is the username and password. I think it has started from years ever since internet has been invented. But you can see that there are many data breaches that's happening, and it's very easy to steal the password by you just go to the dark web. You can just pay money and get the whole list of database that contains a username and password that's derived from those data breaches. So the username ID and passwords are not secure anymore. And then next comes the multi-factor authentication. So this added on top of username and password as an additional layer of verifying the identity is based on something you have, like a phone or token, something that you know, like a PIN, or something that you are, like your fingerprint, your iris. And to make it more secure and adaptive in nature, we move into a digital intelligent identity that's based on user behavior through machine learning and analytics, and based on device used to validate the user. And I would say that all these come under the Entrust identity solution. That's the IAM solution. On the other hand, there's also a PKI credential-based identity that offers a frictionless and yet high level of security assurance. This is used in e-passport, national ID, email encryption, IoT, and securing the web server. So if you browse the internet, you will see the HTTPS in the address bar. You know that okay, the data is already secured using a PKI certificate, a public certificate. So this solution comes under our Entrust PKI digital credential. And other than the traditional authentication, right, Entrust is in the unique position to have a capability of integrating both the IAM and the PKI to ensure the highest level of security and assurance, and offer frictionless and even passwordless solution, which I will show later. So this is an overview of an Entrust digital solution portfolio. So on the leftmost is a Entrust identity portfolio. You have full range of authenticators from Greek cards, SMS message to mobile-based soft token or even hard tokens. So under the identity portfolio, there are three different implementation option based on use case as well. So first, we have a identity as a service, which is a cloud-based IAM solution, and this comes with a credential-based option. So it's very fast for the organization to sign up. They just need to open a trial account and then just enroll, and then they can start to enable the multi-factor authentication for all the staff in the organization. The next is the Identity Enterprise, which is an on-prem high assurance IAM solution. So it again comes with a credential-based option, including the physical smart cards. The last option is the Identity Essential, which is also window-based is multi-factor authentication, and it can be on-prem, and then it can also be a hybrid and with a cloud as well. So in the middle is the Entrust PKI solution that allows a digital certificate to be issued and even the certificate lifecycle management can be provided. I will cover in detail later, but that's not bear in mind that I think with the recent acquisition and with our 25 years of experience in the PKI, we have actually expanded our PKI offering. So customers can now deal with us as a single vendor for not only for the CA to issue the cert, but as well as the HSN, and then the validation authority to verify the cert, and even offer the electronic signature and time stamping solutions, which is very essential, like for e-passport or even for document signing. Yeah, you need to have a time stamping component, yeah, as part of the solution. And we also have a managed service for Microsoft CA or for Entrust CA, or it can be have on-prem. So last and not least, on the right side, we also have a full range of public SSL cert portfolio. It can be the certificate for securing web server, can be SMI email encryption, document signing, code signing, and it can be used on the device as well. So in this presentation, I will focus more on the first two components. And just want to highlight that Entrust IAM and PKI solutions has won several rewards in the security industry. We are rated number 1 in the cloud-based and authentication portfolio by knowledge by the firm Cooper Co. And then for the IoT space, and we are also a recipient of IoT award, and this is based on the PKI solution, and we are leader in the PKI solution in the Gartner's report. And then for the public TLS certificate space, we are also the global leader. So let me jump on to the IAM solution, the Entrust Identity Portfolio. So the Entrust Identity is part of IAM solution. It provides capabilities across the digital identity lifecycle. So it offers authentication function, authentication using multi-factor authentication, and provisioning the secure identities. Next is the authorizing. So it will allow access permission, and it can also even the passwordless access. And the next one will be the actual transaction with email, file encryption, document signing. And the next part is the manage. So you have a very user-friendly self-service portal for the employee to do a password reset, which is actually the pain of most of the IT staff. Because if with the password, I think it's either the employee will call in just because he lost a password or forgot password, or maybe he forgot to renew password. Right, every 90 days they're supposed to renew password. So that can be resolved easily through a self-service portal. So we have also a list of a mobile SDK for the mobile app to leverage on. And then all these are included in the whole solution out of the box. So mobile is a very important form of authenticator, because everyone has a mobile and it's a smart device, and now you have a secure key store that is available, yeah, in the Android and in the iOS. So our solution establishes mobile as a trusted identity, so that the user can use it to generate a one-time password, or they can receive a push notification if instead of one-time password. So they can just, once they want to log in the system, they enter username and password, and then they'll receive a notification to ask them to confirm. They can also receive a transaction approval notification. If, let's say, for example, in the banking environment, you have a high value transaction that's happening in his account, and then the bank can trigger this transaction approval message to ask the consumer to confirm that this is a transaction that the consumer has made. And it also have a digital identity that's embedded in the mobile, so you can actually use it to fulfill like passwordless login or single sign-on through the Bluetooth, which I think I will show later as well. Another important aspect of IAM is the adaptive authentication. Is data analytics that's transparent to the user. So it has a policy engine that will trace the user behavior, the location where this person log in, and then check whether the device is the same as he first enrolled. So if he changed the device halfway, then it will try to step up the authentication. And then you can also check the device reputation, whether the device has been used to commit any crime. So there's a global mobile reputation database that can be used to check against. And then based on that user behavior, then you can have a policy engine that compute the risk score, and then it can decide whether to block, challenge, or allow this request to pass through. So all the policies can be defined based on groups, can be based on the different type of use case. So let's jump into the consumer use case for this IAM solution. So the use case can be bank customers use case. So the customer use it to access the internet banking or e-banking on the mobile. The middle one is the customer portal. So this is very common for example, insurance company, right? The customer can log in the account and then to check their insurance, or maybe to check their points for example, even for some of the loyalty program. And then the right side is the digital onboarding for the very important in the current situation because you want to minimize the real face-to-face contact. So the user can now securely onboard to open an account without going to the branch. They can use their current physical ID to validate their identity, which I will show later as well. So for consumer banking in a bank, you can see that the different use case, the IAM solution can be used to authenticate the user login on a mobile banking, send transaction verification, or to do fund transfer, or even log into a cardless ATM using the mobile. So there's a possibility of using the single IAM solution to support both the consumer and banking as well as the internal bank use case. So earlier on, I mentioned about the digital onboarding, the self-service identity proving is very important nowadays. Because of current pandemic, so this eliminates the need for in-person identity verification. So it's widely applicable across all different verticals like banking, government, education, retail, and it's a favorite choice, right, for all the onboarding process. Especially now, there's a lot of digital transformation. So all this onboarding process can be done by the user remotely. So in order to establish trust for a person, you need to undertake a ID vetting process, which typically means a manual check. But to make it faster, that's where the mobile ID proving comes in. So through the mobile capture, we are able to check the device reputation and issue a credential from here. So I have a video. Maybe let me run through and show you how it works. So if let's say this person want to open an account, so he will take a picture of her own identity card. That's a government issued card usually, driving license, or it can be a passport, or can be a national ID card, and then he take a live picture of herself, and that will allow the backend to verify her own picture against the picture on the identity card, and then you'll do the capture all the information that's inside the physical cards and then use it for enrollment. So this is a matter of like 5-second type of timing. So it's connected to a huge resource of database that's contains all the government ID and the type of attributes that you need to track. For example, some of the ID cards has hologram or certain layer of security that can be captured and then can be validated, through this ID proving server at the backend as well. The next portion is the workforce use case. So the workforce use case actually covers it can be based on the different groups, like knowledge workers, frontline workers, or external users, or it can be based on the different use case. For example, some office employees, they need to access the VPN access. They want to log into the cloud applications, so you need to enable the multi-factor authentication and the single sign-on. Also very common is the log in the desktop. So all these are, you can use a different type of authenticator. You can use biometrics, you can use a mobile-based credential, or you can use inbuilt advanced authentication using adaptive authentication mechanism to track the user behavior. So these are the different type of different situation and scenario where a single solution can be used for the essential authentication from the start, and then you can actually allow the organization to extend to other use case using the same platform. So essentially Entrust IAM solution is future proof. So we can actually scale it according to the use case. And as I mentioned earlier, right, you can start with a normal two-factor authentication, and then you can really move it even to a high assurance level based on credentials. So we are in a unique position because we have both the PKI solution and IAM solution to ensure a normal assurance to a very high assurance authentication. The most common use case is a VPN access, so it can be implemented using the Radius protocol out of the box. So we do offer integration guides to common type of a VPN. You can see on the left side. So we have a web page, right, that indicates what type of VPNs have been integrated. And actually down the list is actually building up. So it's a dynamic list. Let me show you how the VPN access works with the multi-factor authentication. So this on the screen where the user will key in the username password. So this is the first factor authentication. And after the password is validated successfully, then there's a second factor that comes in. So in this case, the push notification, you receive a notification to confirm with this access. So once it's confirmed, then again the user can just log into the VPN system and access the secure protected resource within the company. Another very common use case is the desktop login. So I think we are also one of the companies who can secure the desktop login for Linux, even for Mac as well. So let me show you an example. So this is a mobile and this is the desktop that the user want to log in. So first is the first factor again, enter the user ID and the password. So once the first factor pass through, then the second factor authentication comes in the form of a push notification. So the user's mobile will be able to receive this confirmation. During the enrollment process, the user has to register his or her mobile to the IAM solution. So this authentication only works on this particular person's mobile phone. If the user changed mobile or lost a mobile, there's also another layer of protection. So to open the app, right, the phone can also be use a PIN or iPhone Face ID or PIN, right, to unlock this application. So that's the additional layer of security to ensure that if the phone is lost, yeah, there's no one can still access it. Another use case is a single sign-on. Because of the advent of the cloud-based application, now the user, right, they could have many cloud-based application to access, and it would be very troublesome for the person to perform multi-factor authentication for every cloud-based application. So that's where the single sign-on comes in. That means if the user log in first time in a cloud application, this particular credential that's validated can be shared with other cloud-based applications. So this is all standardized, yeah, based on a SAML and OpenID protocol. And if the user log out the active application, then the other cloud application will also be logged out. So that offers a lot of convenience and fulfill the user's requirement, right, to make life simple for them. So as you can see on the right side, there's also a list of the cloud-based applications that has been integrated, and the list is also building. So as we move on, right, that's what I mentioned about the high credential and assurance level of security. So you can, earlier on, all the use case that I show is based on multi-factor authentication. So you can see the user needs to key in the ID password, and then you have second factor, either push notification or one-time password. Once validated, then the user can access the protected resource. And now there's if the organization moves to the credential-based passwordless authentication, that will further increase the assurance level and productivity, because we totally eliminate the need to enter the ID and password. So how it works is that the mobile phone is first enrolled and registered with a digital identity. That's a digital credential. That's a PKI base, and then it's pre-registered to the workstation that this person will use. So once this connection is established, then when the user is nearby the workstation, then he will be prompted to enter a PIN or a touch ID, for example, to confirm that he wants to access the workstation. So there's no need to manually enter user ID anymore, because all the digital credential contains the user information for the workstation to recognize. And once this user log in, he can actually access the other cloud-based applications using single sign-on. So let me show you the video how it works. So this particular user, so he open the digital credential. He can use a Face ID, for example, to open his credential. So you can implement passless access in the gantry, or it can be, even for this case, when he's near the PC, so the Bluetooth on his mobile will be detected, okay, by the workstation, and then they'll ask him to confirm to access, and then thereafter you can access the other cloud-based applications using like Office 365 or Salesforce. So this is the whole. It's a seamless process, and then it totally eliminates, right, the password, the ID, and so that is the highest level of assurance, as well as offer frictionless. And this is very different from what other companies' passwordless solution offer, because passwordless solutions are many types. I think most what I can see from other companies, passwordless is just to still store the password somewhere in a mobile or on the PC, but they use a thumbprint, for example, to open to expose the pin. So this actually doesn't increase the security. or whereas if you use a credential base, it totally increase the level of assurance level and as well as security. So Entrust IAM solution, actually we have to integrate, right, with different cloud application, with different VPN, with different device reputation partners. So we have a technology alliance program. We continue to work with many partners, to provide the whole suite of authentication and adaptive mechanism in order to secure the whole on-prem and the cloud IT framework. So we do have a built-in connectors and workflow-driven configuration. So all these can be found in the Entrust website. Okay, next I move on to the digital credential, which is also a very important pillar of protecting data and application. I think PKI is a very widely used solution, even from the government, like e-passport, and you can see that on the left side, there's a different, very common applications that already use PKI. So risk and compliance drive the need, right, for higher assurance level based on the PKI. So SSL VPN mobile continue to lead the traditional PKI use case. But recently, you can see IoT and DevOps to increase the adoption as identities have expanded from people to things and systems. For PKI credential-based identities, to build and maintain trust is to manage the digital certs properly and establish a set of roles, procedures, and policies to secure this certificate. So there are many enterprise and government cross-border applications, right, that use digital cert in the form of digital identities. So you can see that the top rank is the web server, the HTTPS, then VPN, and all the different cloud-based email security down the list. And on the right side is all the different additional things and systems that start to have enabled with a digital certificate as well. So the number of certificates that an organization needs to manage actually has increased exponentially. So let me come back on PKI, some basics. So in cryptography, right, PKI is an arrangement that binds the public keys with respective identities of the entities, people, or organization, and provide trust infrastructure. So this is a trust infrastructure that's very important. Maybe to help you understand, let me give you an analogy to passport and national ID cards. So to get a passport, you need to establish identity with the Department of Immigration Office, right? Who will then issue the passport. So all entities in the ecosystem needs to establish one trust relationship. That is the government certificate authority. So this trust relationship is in the form of digital certificate issued by the government CA. So you can see here. So these are the CA that's for e-passport. So they need to have a government CA that's established. And in order to apply for a passport, so the person needs to perform identity validation, right, by providing the digital ID, birth certificate, for example. So this entity has to be verified, and then the verification can be done manually by the administrator of the immigration office, or it can be automated by standard protocol. So this registration authority's role is to verify the identities before the digital cert can be issued to this entity or user. So that's where the RA comes in. So that's where this registration authority will validate the new person or things that whom digital certs needs to be issued. And let's say this person lost his passport, right? Then the central system needs to store the list of passport that are lost, so that the other countries will not recognize, and So that involves revoking this passport. So similarly for digital cert, there's also a revoking of digital cert. They are no longer used or misused. So this revocation status is provided by the validation authority over here on the right side. So it can be checked online or through a directory. So that's the most common misconception, right, about PKI is that it's just issuing the cert. So this is not true, right? So you can see that it involves the process of enrollment, validation, as well as establishing the trust. So there's a list of procedure and policy that needs to be established. And if the trust is not established from the lowest chain to the top, then the whole certificate will not be trustworthy and cannot be trusted. So Entrust has the whole suite of solution and professional service that are able to help an organization formulate the policies and issue the certificate practice statement. So this is all part of the total solution that we can offer. So just now I mentioned, like, you have a people and things or system that will need a digital cert. So these are some of the least case that I can show here. So PKI enable you to issue credential, and it depends on the purpose and assurance level. And so it can be in a form of a smart card. It can be on a HSM device. And for authentication purpose, the most common use case is to authenticate device or device to device or server to server authentication. And then credential can be used by applications to ensure integrity of the data exchange with other applications or users. With more and more organizations adopting this digital transformation, we receive more requests for a solution to allow users to digitally sign documents. And lastly, it can be used to encrypt email, can do the secure file transfer. And so this is a wide range of applications with a digital cert. And all these trust is established because there's the sets of rules and procedures to trust the CA that issues the digital cert. So one of the differentiator that Entrust has is the breadth of certificate lifecycle management options that a customer can leverage. So we support automated and manual certificate life management. So we support agent or agentless approach, and we support a wide range of protocols to ease the certificate life cycle management. So if a customer uses a proprietary solution or device and does not support the standard protocol, we also offer API. That allows you to this end entity to automate the CLM process. So as more and more organizations become mobile-based because of this BYOD, so integration with MDM solution is now very critical. So we have a partnership with a lot of MDM solutions provider. So the integration works this way, right? They will develop, those MDM provider, they will develop a plugin that will leverage on our Entrust PKI solution, and then they are able to actually communicate with the CA securely, and then to automate the issuance of a cert or to revoke the cert based on the organization policies. And then all these are pushed through the MDM solution. Let's say when the staff is a new staff who join the company, they can just boot up the device, and then this MDM solution can actually automate the certificate issuance when he joined the company, and then when he leaves the company, the MDM solution can also revoke the cert remotely. So these are the whole lot of convenience that's offered for the IT personnel. So let me summarize by just covering our PKI offering. So we have an on-prem PKI. So this is this option can be considered if let's say the organization needs a full control over the infrastructure due to compliance, and then you have an internal expertise to operate it. If there's no expertise to operate the PKI system, you can use the Entrust managed PKI service. So it's managed out of our own data center and is operated by our own PKI experts. And if you are comfortable with a Microsoft CA, managed Microsoft CA is also available. So it will leverage on your Azure infrastructure, but managed by us to provide you a high assurance Microsoft CA. Managed root CA is our hybrid offering. We hosted and manage the root CA while issuing CA is still being deployed on-prem. So it allows you to comply with certain policy, for example, ensuring the end users or entities information stay on-prem, and at the same time benefited the properly managed root CA, which is the root of the trust infrastructure. Every digital cert has a validity period and it's getting shorter, right, to keep up with security. So downtime and shortages due to mismanaged digital certs are rising. So expired certs and that are not renewed can be extremely costly. Like you can see on the left side. So IoT device, and then I think with regard to public cert expiry, so Microsoft Teams went down because Microsoft forgot to renew the cert. Spotify was down because of expired cert. So it has a big implication, especially you have many users, and actually disrupts business continuity. So in order to resolve this certificate tracking issue, right? So we have an Entrust certificate hub. So we have a centralized cert management console to discover all the certificates, even Entrust issued or non-Entrust issued, able to discover all this cert, monitor the expiry, and then produce a report or alert. And when it's time to renew, if it's Entrusted, you can also automate the renewal, and then you can even load this certificate into the destination, like the SFTP destination. So with those integration with the DevOps or like Ansible or automated business workflow solution like ServiceNow, so there's a possibility to ease the IT work by providing a full certificate lifecycle management solution. So we have a full suite of integration that is done with them. So this slide gives an overview, right, of typical PKI ecosystem. I hope that it won't be too complicated for you. Actually, in fact, we can just divide into 3 different type of entities. One is the things, like devices or machines, or even some VPN, for example. So these are things. And then another type of digital cert is for people, for end users, or even for mobile devices. That's an MDN provider. And then you have systems that are related to, let's say, the network, the 3G or 4G network. And then we have a whole lot of administrative interface that for the admin and self-service users to use. And you can see the whole ecosystem, right? From the managing the mobile, being an administrator, as well as able to work as a on-prem or managed service. I think all this solution portfolio actually managed. It can be offered by Entrust, and we have a personnel to guide you to manage that. So typically, I don't think you have you will use all the different ecosystem components. So, but once you have this PKI system that's onboarded with Entrust, you can start off with a mobile device management. You can expand to IoT device, for example. So that is a future-proof solution. And so this is our end-to-end solution offering, from HSM to validation service to timestamping, signing, and trusted device. So let me probably summarize, I think what I've covered through this use case. So this use case use Entrust IAM and PKI solution to secure data and application in the healthcare setting. So National Health Science is in the UK with more than 200 hospitals, 150,000 doctors, and 320,000 nurses. So during pandemic, the staff cannot use biometrics for full passwordless experience. Previously, they were using a smart card, right, to log in their workstation, because there needs to be a high assurance because the patient's records are at stake. So in compliance with all the GDPR law, they have to secure the access as well. But because of pandemic, they are all wearing PPE suit. So they are wearing gloves, and so they can't actually really conveniently get out of the smart card out of their pocket. So in the end, they turn into contactless approach that's using passwordless, using a mobile smart credentials on the mobile. So the users first enroll through the RA in registration authority, and then receive an email to ask them to load the cert, to download the app, load the cert, and then to activate this digital cert in the mobile, they set up their PIN and activate their smart card in the mobile. So that's the virtual smart card. And then they pair their device to a computer which they normally access to the patient's database. So in order to start using it, and when they are nearby the workstation that they already paired, so a PIN will be prompt. It can be on the computer or can be the mobile. For this case, this PIN appear on the computer because they are wearing PPE suit, so it's more convenient. So thereafter, once they enter the PIN, then they can just seamlessly secure the healthcare system. They don't even need enter ID or password, because all the credential in the mobile will transparently be validated by the whole PKI infrastructure. So to maintain the digital cert validity, so they will use a PKI system to validate and then to renew the cert upon expiry. So let me end by a short introduction about Entrust. So as you can see that we have a IAM solution, we have a PKI solution. So but this is not the only digital security portfolio that we have. So this matrix really shows some color to the Entrust story. We are an $800 million company with more than 2,500 employees and more than 1,000 technology partners. So I think VietSunshine is one of our major partners over here, in this region. So one thing you notice about this leadership metrics is that they touch every part of our business. So from financial or government IDs, physical cards, to securing website, to securing the Swift message between banks using our multi-factor authentication, and then to the issuance of the e-passport from our PKI solution as well. So we enable modern commerce by creating trust between companies and customers, between governments and citizens, and between organizations and the people that they serve. And we are helping to enable digital transformation, delivering trusted payments, identities, and data with ease of use, cloud-based solution, whether the interaction is conducted face-to-face, online, or on your mobile. So I think as you can see, what I covered is PKI and IAM and digital and signing. So I think we have, and also the internet. So these are the portion that we covered, and then actually there are a whole lot of other solution that we have. So with that, I will end it with some of the customer references that we have. So we have 95 million identities secured, 25 years of experience in the digital identity, 7 years of delivering the passwordless solution, and then an expert in the security solution with diverse portfolio of global customers worldwide. So with that, thank you for your time. So if you have any question, you can just probably can post in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Lawrence. So let's open the floor now to any questions from the audience. You can put in your questions into the question. Okay, so I don't see any questions coming in. So let's just give one more minute for anyone who would like to put in a question. Okay, great. So if there are no questions, right, I'd like to thank VietSunshine and Lawrence and the team for facilitating this webinar. As always, you can always reach out to us at Entrust and VietSunshine if you have any questions regarding our solutions, or you have a security situation that you'd like to seek advice on. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll end the talk today. Thank you.